Welcome to Dawn of a Story. This is more than a podcast. It's a place where we speak the truth, tell the stories that shape us, and honor the moments that made us who we are. I created the space because I believe storytelling is how we connect, how we heal, and how we remember who we are. Some stories are still being written, some are full of laughter, some have changed everything, but all of them matter. Whether it's my story or one of my guests, my hope is that you hear something that resonates, that reminds you that you are not alone and encourages you to tell your story too. So settle in because every story starts somewhere, and this one starts now. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Dawn of a Story. I'm your host, Dawn Pascal. I'm so very grateful you decided to spend your time with me and my guest this week, Senyk Strand. Each episode, we explore a different theme, one inspired by the moments, experiences, and stories that shape who we are. And this week's theme is the life that matters the most. Today, we're talking about what it really means to build a life that matters. So often, success is defined by what we achieve, our careers, our accomplishments, the things we build. But over time, those definitions can shift. And sometimes the life that matters the most isn't the one we planned. It's the one we're living in the everyday moments we might otherwise overlook. The time we spend with the people we love in the places that quietly become part of our story. And sometimes those moments are as simple as being known as the mayor in the park. So let me tell you a little about my guest. Senyk is an engineer, entrepreneur, and father of two who has spent more than 15 years working in the Department of Defense. He is also the creator of Peanut Butter Boy, a recipe blog turned business that grew into more than 100 stores before coming to an unexpected end. At the center of it all, Senyk is someone who has come to define success not by career, but by family, presence, and the life he's built along the way. So without further ado, let's get started. Senyk, I am so happy to see you. How are you?
Great to see you. Great. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm good. This is like throwback craziness, Peanut Butter Boy. Will say the best peanut butter I ever had. Used it in my peanut butter and jelly bars at the bakery.
So good.
And I was just so excited to meet you and Elizabeth and be connected with another small business. So this is really full circle. Thank you. This is great.
It's been years. It really has.
It has been.
Wow.
All right. So let's start to chat. When you think about the life that matters the most, which is our theme for today, how has your definition of success evolved over time?
So it's funny. I think I had this discussion with somebody, I want to say yesterday or the day before. And, I think it's because it's the economy we have, the capitalistic mindset here. And, you want to go to the best college, right? You have to get good grades. You got to do the best college that you can. You have to do the best you can in college. You have to get the best job. You have to get the best this, that, and the other. And the mindset is always, you got to earn the most you could possibly earn, right? Mm-hmm. You got to start your own business. You should, grow your business. You should be a multi-billionaire. And that's really the goal of being in this economy, is what it feels like.
Right.
And so, I think there's a lot of pressure to do that, right? So, starting out, I mean, you're a kid and you're a teenager and you're, I want money. Who doesn't want money, right? That's great. I want to buy things. I want to do things with it, right? So you work hard and you go to a good school. You want to get a high paying job. You want to keep, making more and more money, move up the chain, that kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. No, but that's kind of where you start, right? And so that's the mindset. You start out, come out of college, you get a job, you look for the best job. But you start, meeting people, you meet, someone you're attracted to. I met my wife actually during college. It's been a while now. So that was 2000. Oh boy, I got to get this right. 2005.
Okay.
You're like, wow, this is great. This person's great. Like, I love this person, right? I want to spend all my time with this person, right? But, you're torn because you have to work. You want to, build your career. You have to put in more time, more hours, that kind of thing. So you get these forces pulling you apart, right? And that's okay because your spouse in this scenario is doing the same thing. for the most part, right? Doing the same thing. So it kind of feels normal for a while. And then you have kids. And that's, I think, what changed me the most. But my daughter was born November 11th, 2013. It was almost 11, 12, 13. That would have been cool.
That would have been very cool.
It's 2013. So that was when I was in the business already. We had just started Peanut Butter Boy. My wife was very pregnant, right when we kind of just picked up, started getting our first stores. I think she was about to burst. And then my daughter was born, and we were doing deliveries on the weekends and that kind of stuff. And it was fun. It was kind of like a family activity, right? So it was nice to be all together. But as they grow up, I go to work, and my wife was at home for the first year or two, and miss all those things, right? So I installed a camera, so I can peek in midday and I can see my daughter rolling around on the floor and stuff, right? And but I'm at work. I mean, I still got to work all day, and
Right.
so you start to see where like your time is being pulled in different directions, and it's such a limited resource. And so it's just from that point on, it has always evolved into spending more and more time with my kids as much as I can, and more than anything else, and my wife, of course, too. But they're changing every day, and it's almost like interacting with a new human every day. And so you have to, in my mind, I want to keep making impressions on them, and I want to get the impressions back from them. I want it, that interaction as they change. So it throughout time. It's not that I've neglected work or anything, but it's like work is work. And that's, do I make enough money to survive? Yeah. And then that's it. I save the rest of my time to spend with my family.
Right.
And it's been wonderful to change that mindset. And I couldn't pinpoint when that happened. Right. It was a slow evolution, I'd say, to get to the point that I'm at now.
It's funny. I was actually going to ask you, was there a realization shift that happened, especially with the family piece? Look, I know the evolution of a business. I don't know the evolution of an immediate family. I never, had children, but was there a point in time? Was there any kind of point in time when that realization was like, ooh, okay? Because I want to talk about the mayor and the park piece, and I know that that's a lot around 2020 and all of the crazy events of that time. But was there a realization shift?
I wouldn't say it was like a hard, like today I woke up and I was like, oh, this is the way I am now, right?
Right.
But I was going to mention exactly that, and you hit on it. Is COVID was a weird, crazy time. It's been talked about to death, and it was wild.
Yep.
But what it did do for me is, and for a lot of people, of course, is it allowed me to work from home. So, my job with Department of Defense, they generally don't like people working from home for obvious reasons. And so I think I'd work from home like once every 2 weeks up until that point, right? So almost nothing, or very, very little.
Right.
COVID hits. We're all working from home for a week, and then we'll go back to work. Well, of course, it wound up being much longer than that, and for a while, the parks were closed. You couldn't do anything. They closed off everything. You could walk on the sidewalk through the park, or we could walk around the block, or something that was very mundane after the first 2 nights or afternoons of doing that. So I think it was as tough a COVID time as anybody else had, stuck inside, that kind of thing, for the most part. But when the park started reopening, I realized, wow, now I have some time. So end of 2020, I'd say somewhere like end of summer-ish is when, the parks start opening again. You can start to do some things, that are more fun and interactive with your kids and other people. You got the masks and you're 6 feet away and whatever else.
Right.
And so the parks in Hoboken, the main one, Church Square Park, is the biggest, I'd say, and the most visited. It just started like building up, people and more and started flooding, because that was all you could do.
Right.
I mean, that was all there was to do. Right. So more and more people would show up, and me working from home still, I was done by 4:00 every day. Right. I start early. I finish by 4. The kids' school was relatively a joke at that point, but it was something. And then end of day, 4:00, I'd take them to the park. My wife would finish up her work, whatever she was doing. I'd take them to the park at 4. I'd be there till 6:30 or so every day. And, doing that, of course, they make friends. I make friends. We make friends together, and you start building on that. And so now it becomes like a full community every day, doing the same thing, showing up, hanging out, playing games, having parties, doing whatever we wanted. It was a fantastic time. And I didn't realize how it was slowly kind of growing and developing, but it was. And so we get this large group of friends. All the kids are just playing together, having a blast. Bring anything you wanted that day, and that was the theme of the day. And they would play soccer for 2 hours, or you bring a basketball for 2 hours, right? And then, of course, kids are always joining and joining and joining, and so it just becomes this large group of people, this network of people, mostly kids, right? There's
Right.
obviously adults too, but it just was this like whole. It was this incredible neighborhood feel like I never had in the suburbs, and we had a good when I grew up, we had a good group of kids from the neighborhood. We'd get together and play and stuff. And it certainly we didn't have this before COVID. My wife had some moms meetups and, some little groups and stuff like that. But this was like a network. And, the kids were ranging from like, you had the babies, the toddlers that were just walking like 2 years old until
Right.
teenagers. You
Right.
had everyone. It was incredible. And so, I think it really hit me the most when me and my buddy, who we were there every day, everyone else mostly every day, right? And so this guy John and we'd always reminisce about our childhoods and what we did growing up, and he remembers playing capture the flag, and I was like, oh yeah, like I love that game. You have like bases and you got to go into the other side and steal it, not get tagged, and so me and him introduced the kids to capture the flag, and yeah, some of them want to, some of them don't. We're like, yeah, it's like tag. It worked. We started, with a basic rule set. We started bringing some things to act as flags, and, different sizes of, the field, and everything like that. Right. So we started playing, and we're like, this is really fun. The kids are like, this is a blast. Right. We play the next day. We play the next day. And every day the kids managed to find a flaw in your rules every day. They're like, well, that's not in the rules. I can do this. I can do that. You're like, okay, all right, new rules. We had to add new rules every day to try to outsmart these kids, which
Oh,
is
well.
very difficult. And the more we played, the bigger the group got, and the bigger the group got. I mean, we got to the point where we'd have kids come up all the time. Can I play? Of course you can play. Get in there. Like the age range again was like the kids actually playing maybe like 4 or 5 to me. When everyone's playing, adults, it's not just kids. We're not just super. We're in it, and we're in it hardcore. This is not. We're not being easy or gentle. Like we're in it.
Right.
And it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. And when I realized that I know all these kids just piling in, and we'd have games at like 40, 50 people at a time. It was insane. And people like, you should organize a group. People would pay for this. I'm like, I don't want that. I want to just play. I don't want this to be like a forced, you have to come. Like, I just want to enjoy this,
Right.
And like, yeah, I could monetize this. Like, I don't want to. And it hit me when, yeah, we got this large group size, and that was my life. That was my like third place, right? Like I'd have my house, which also was my office, right, at the time. But that's where I wanted to be every single day.
Yeah. I don't
Even on the
blame you.
weekends, I was like, that's where I want to be. And I'm hoping most of those people I know show up. And it started hitting me when knowing all these kids, all these parents, just walking around town in general. And all of these kids would be like, yo, Nick, you going to the park? When you come to the park? Like, I'd walk near the park. Like, are you going? You got the flags? Like, they were so excited just to see me around. And like, kids would just flock. Every time they saw me come to like put my bag down, they were like, oh, you got the flags? What do you have? Ball. I was like the person that they came to. And they're like, what are we playing today? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just arrived. I don't
Right.
know. Whatever you guys want. Like, I don't have to decide this for you. And so people would call me the mayor of the park. And, whatever that means, I don't know. But I was for years, for probably 3 to 4 years, I was there almost every day playing games with all the kids. I know so many people around town now. It's great. And I think that looking back, like every day, every week, every month, looking back on that, it's like, wow, that was a great time. I was playing with my kids, with other kids, the
Right.
neighborhood. It was such an amazing experience. And it has since tapered off. Kids got way too many commitments now, and I certainly can't go as much. So things have changed. People have left town. But it was some of the best time of my life. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Well, to me, it just seems it's so multi-level. It's not only you introducing the kids to a game, which is very reminiscent of your childhood. I distinctly remember we didn't play in the house. There were no play dates. You didn't organize anything. You came home from school, you changed out of your uniform, you ran outside and you played. And you played, and then especially in the summer, which was a different time frame, you played until the street lights went on. when the street lights came on or your mother yelled at you from the window, you came upstairs. Like it was just
Yeah.
and that's my childhood. And I have
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful memories of playing games and resolving conflict and making new friends. And it's like, it's so, again, so multi-level.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
you teach these kids a new game. You teach them how to play with each other. They are thinking outside of the box with coming up with these new rules. Okay. Maybe stretching it a little bit, but whatever.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
along with it. But it's also the adults. It's like giving
Oh
you an
yeah.
opportunity to have some fun kid-like time with other adults and maybe have them forget that it was like the shittiest time that we've all collectively have
It
gone through
was.
together,
It was.
right? And
Yep.
economically very tough on folks, business-wise, yours, mine, countless others. And so, I mean, that's amazing. To me, that
Yeah.
is just so bigger than you just showing kids how to play a game that you used to play when you were younger.
That's a good point. It's true, and we talked about that all the time with the people. You know, I mean, listen, we'd play capture the flag 2 or 3 days in a row, and eventually the adults would be like, "All right, we're out today. Like, we're 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 not
Right.
feeling so hot. You guys
Right.
go play. Here's the flags. Like, you need to leave us alone." And we'd often just sit for hours and chat, and we talk about these kids and all different personalities, all different, levels of intelligence and abilities, and there's always conflicts and whining and this and that. And it's like, you know what? You need to learn to deal with these other people, right? You might have some best friends. You might not like these other people, but guess what? They're here. You have
Right.
to work with them, deal with them, learn how to deal with that. And it was such a learning experience for the kids, for the adults too. It was our social time. It was so much. It was so complex in there.
Yeah.
And so it was just this awesome, close knit group. It was incredible. It really was.
Well, it's nice to actually hear something 2020-ish related that was good and fun
Positive.
and
Yes.
positive. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful way of
Yes.
saying it. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about Peanut Butter Boy.
Sure.
How did that start? What was the reason why you started it? Or maybe sometimes there is no reason. Things just happen. So how did Peanut
It
Butter
just
Boy come
happened.
about?
Yeah. So I I guess it started off, I'd say, with grad school. I went to grad school. I had thought at the time I wanted to get more into academia. And so coming out of Stevens for undergrad here, um, I said, I want to get my doctorate. That sounds great. I had a good friend, one of my best friends in college, very brainy guy as well. Not touting myself. I'm just saying we
Yes, I
really
know.
like
I
using
know.
our minds in
Yeah.
this problem solving. Okay. And so he's like, I want to get my doctorate. I said, that sounds awesome. Like, I'd love to just study more, about things that interest me, right? Focus, not just classes and classes, but like focus on something that's interesting, useful, technology, science, that kind of thing. So I go to grad school. I'd already met my now wife. And so I applied to a couple different grad schools. I chose UC Davis because she was going to University of San Francisco. They were at least close. We weren't going to find the same school. I knew that. Teaching and engineering, generally not in one school, but about an hour and a half drive, doable. So we both went to grad school there on the West Coast for 2 years. And the way this started is I wanted really to get right into research. So I did the kind of the research track and I took a few classes, of course, you have to. Got into research, something that was relatively interesting to me. Basically looking for biomarkers in the breath that could help diagnose diseases, which is things that are still happening, still being looked into, and there was definitely some positive outcomes there. So this was kind of earlier on. So 2007, 2008. And so this was kind of, some of the initial looks at this in academia. So there was definitely some promise there. So I started doing that. The problem is it was very boring. And I don't just mean boring like I didn't enjoy it. It was boring in the fact that, what I was doing was testing I was the sample, right? So I'd be breathing into these tubes with different polymers and different things. And I'd breathe into them for X number of minutes. And then you put it in a machine for a day. And so I'd go in the morning, like 9 a.m., do the breath thing, put it in, get home by like 9:30, I have nothing to do.
Oh, gee.
Because I need to wait for the results. I need to wait to see if it worked or not.
Right.
And then So then I go in the next day and okay, did or didn't work, maybe talk to my supervisor and be like, hey, this isn't working. What do we think next? And do it again. But sometimes you need multiple samples. You process them all one at a time. Blah, blah. So there was a lot of downtime. So I had to fill my time. I didn't know what else to do. My girlfriend, she wasn't there. She was in San Francisco studying and doing her work. I couldn't
Right.
just leave. I had to be there. So since college, I was kind of into, fitness and working out and staying in shape. And I started eating, I'll say healthy. I wanted to be healthy in college and stop eating junk food. And so I started getting into cooking when I was an undergrad, the last year or two. But now I had all this free time. I'm out in California. There's all these farms, fresh produce, this kind of stuff. I was like, all right, I'll just start getting into cooking and I'll start, making new recipes and stuff. I started realizing I really enjoy peanut butter. Obviously that was a staple kind of in college, right? As a last minute kind of go-to meal. Peanut butter, I mean, at least in like the weightlifting community at the time, it's like a perfect food. I mean,
Mm.
it's got your fats, it's got your protein, it's got fiber, it's lowish in carbs. I mean, it's a great food that helps you kind of add weight. Simple, cheap, perfect for a college kid, right? And so I was like, well, it's also delicious. I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
helps. So I'll
Mm.
try to incorporate it into certain
Right.
recipes, right? And so I started experimenting. I started following other recipes and all this free time I had. And so, I get to a point where I'm starting to become a better cook and I come up with really cool, new, unique recipes, a lot of Mexican stuff, not with the peanut butter, but Mexican stuff because we're in California. And I start writing the recipes down in a book, I'm writing them down, sharing them with my, girlfriend when I go visit her. I think I would take a picture and send it to my mom and it was really good, and then eventually I'm like, first of all, I'm a lefty. My handwriting's atrocious. And I'm an engineer so I was typing my whole life, right?
Right.
So ever since high school, like I don't write. I don't write anymore. So my handwriting, I try to rush through it because I hate doing it. It's terrible handwriting. It smudges because I'm a lefty. I hate writing. So I'm like, this is silly. Why am I not typing this out? Right. And what's the best way to do that? And I'm like, well, I want to share it with people. And it's not, now it's friends I want to share with too. So I said, okay, these blogs, what is this blog thing? And I look into it. I'm like, oh, it's just a free website.
Right.
Put in your recipe, save it, send the link to anybody you want. Boom. Right. Easy. So that's it. I picked a name. It was like peanutbutterboy.blogspot, I think, .com, at the time. And I shared some recipes around family and friends and stuff. And I'd update them if, I made them again. And I started cataloging recipes, right? And then, I remember sharing it because I was looking at other recipes and sharing and commenting on other people's sites. And it started to grow. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll buy a domain name. And so peanutbutterboy.com was free and it was cheap at the time. And I was like, cool, let's do this. And so, you put some ads on it. I wasn't making money, I'd say, but I didn't care. It was just to share it with friends
Right.
and family and to save it for myself. I mean, it was just a great place to save it. Um, so I did that throughout grad school. That really kind of kept me going. It kind of gave me something to do besides just cooking, which I can only eat so much every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can only make so many new things every day. And so it kept me going. Gave me like like a hobby, a nice hobby to get through grad school. So I did that for a couple of years through grad school, after grad school. And then, part of what I did on the blog was I'd review peanut butters. So every different brand. I mean, I don't know how many brands I've tried and, varieties and
Mm-hmm.
flavors. And I mean, easily 50, probably 70, something ridiculous. There were so many out there at the time. There's probably more now. I'd do the peanut butter of the month clubs and I'd get all these different ones. They'd reach out to me and they're like, we want you to do this, review it for us and
Wow.
post, an affiliate link. So that, I was fairly close to the owner of Peanut Butter and Company at the time, Lee Zalbin.
Mm-hmm.
He reached out and he was like, hey, we want you to try all these. He invited me to some events and stuff. And so I was like, cool, this is great. I mean, so I tried all these peanut butters. I reviewed them all. I gave them honest feedback, on my website, right, in the reviews, and I just knew something was missing. And I would like a little bit. I like this brand, this variety for that reason, right? But then I like this brand and that variety for that reason. And I'm like, this is all good, but me with the health conscious thing, I would try the flavors with all the sugar and all this additives and stuff just to try it. But I wanted something that was like healthy, natural, delicious, like absolutely full of flavor in a natural way. And so I realized what I wanted to do. I was talking to my dad. he's started a few businesses, at that point, very successful, random stuff, not related to food whatsoever. But I talked to him about it, and he always was like, "Hey, if you ever have an idea, like, let's talk about it. I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
go into business with my kids. I'd love to help you start something and see where it goes." I talked to him for a while, and I told him like, I have this recipe down. I back calculated from the nutrition facts what I wanted it to be, ratios, that kind of thing. Found a factory that would do like smaller batch samples, like in 12 or 24 jars kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And said, "Hey, let's just try it. Let's see what it tastes like. Let's see what happens." Right. And so it kind of went from there. We got the samples back. We tried it. We adjusted the salt. We did some different variations with palm oil. We started because we didn't have to stir it. People don't like that. And then we got to a point where we came up with a product that we really liked. We liked the recipe, but then we needed a manufacturer. It's hard. Find a manufacturer, find the right process, couple iterations. I already had some backing from the blog, so people already knew of me, right? And then I found somebody actually through Lee Zalbin, who it was another blogger that I had known virtually from our blogs, and she was a label designer, and so I met up with her and just chatted, and she's like, "I'd love to do the label. Let's do it." And so she helped me create the label, and like, let's try it. Let's do a batch. Let's see what happens. Let's see if people like it. See if we can sell it. See if it works. And it just kind of rolled. It was a slow roll. It just was like, well, let's just take the next step. Let's see what happens. Let's
Right.
go a step further. Let's see what happens. And just kept going that way. So it wasn't like I set out day one, like, I'm creating a business. I'm doing this now. It was like, it was almost like there was like momentum behind me, kind of helping push me along. And it just felt like the right next step to take.
Yeah, and sometimes that path kind of magically unfolds itself for you, right? So I can totally see the engineer, analytical, let's do recipes, which are really very, recipes
Oh, yeah.
are,
Yeah.
right? I totally get that, and I can appreciate, and I can attest because I'm a very analytical process. So baking is like, again, very boxed and precise. I love that you got the opportunity to express the creative side of it, which was the whole blog and recipe building and how that sort of unfolded itself into a business. To be honest, Nick, and shame on me, I never knew that whole story. So thank you so much for sharing that. I only knew the end product, right? I was
Yeah.
looking for
Yeah.
a peanut butter that was literally peanut butter. I just
Yeah.
wanted peanuts and salt.
Basically.
End of
Yeah.
story. I don't want
Yeah.
all the other magical whatever stuff
Yep.
that other companies and manufacturers, not that's with no judgment. It wasn't going to work for me, right, in my
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I only really knew you as the end product. I didn't know
Right.
the whole story that brought you up to that point, and that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. 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 It was an interesting time. It was not where I thought I'd go in life,
Well,
starting a peanut butter company. You
right,
never know. That's the thing. You never know where you're going to go, right?
right.
I have no idea. I guess I'd have to thank my boring grad school program for all of that, right? I don't know that
Amen.
it would have happened otherwise. Because if I was busy, I don't think I would have started the recipe blog. I don't think I would have had time to do the peanut butter reviews.
Right,
I wouldn't have had the time. I wouldn't have thought about this. I would
right.
never have thought about it. So it was all thanks to that, I
I
think.
love it. No, I love it. I love it. It's a great story. So, how do you look at your day to day? What truly matters to you every single day? So, you're back to work.
Yeah.
You're an engineer,
Yep.
Department of Defense,
Yep.
peanut butter boy to me, you'll always be, right?
Love it.
Whether or not you continue the recipes, whether or not it comes back again in some iteration, which I would love to hear that happen. How do you truly identify your day to day with what really matters to you?
It's a great question. I probably think about that every day without realizing I think about it, in terms of how I prioritize things, right? Um, Work is work. For me, I'd say there's certain things I have to do every day to feel like I've accomplished my day. There's
Okay.
a few things, definitely. I'll say the first thing because it's like a guarantee, almost a guarantee, is I have to do some kind of a workout. And for me, it's not just physical; it's mental. For
Mm,
me, it clears my mind. It gives me energy. I've been addicted to exercise since college, definitely. And even before a little bit, I started. But to me, I have to. If I don't do that almost every day, something. I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel like I deserve to lay on the couch at the end of the day. And that's me. That's just, I think it's something in my brain, for better or worse. I like to move. I need to move.
Okay.
So for me, I'm actually able to work out at work, which is great. I can get that done. I can do it during like lunchtime, right? So I go to work, do my work, get my workout in, come home. Boom. That's all done. Fine. At that point, it's a matter of how well I can juggle making dinner, and spending time with the family. My kids do a lot of sports. They're way sportier than I was. Not sporty at all. So what can I do? How can I really fit in all those sports or extracurricular activities, doing whatever it may be, all while trying to squeeze in making dinner? Because I am the cook in the household, as you'd expect. So I still enjoy cooking. It's also, for me, it's also kind of a mental relaxation thing in some ways. I really don't mind doing it. As long as I have some time, I don't mind doing it.
I'm with you. I agree.
I enjoy
100%.
it. I mean, I
Yep.
enjoy it, right? If it's crunch for time, yeah, it gets less enjoyable. But if I have enough time to just kind of do a quick whip up something quick, great. Like making a nice healthy meal for me and my family. That's like every night, leftovers are great, little, basic, simple stuff, fine. But I love doing that. I love feeding my family, getting my kids to eat healthy foods, be energized, enjoy the foods that they're eating, because that's important. Healthy food. I've always said this on my blog and everywhere else. If it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to eat it. I don't care I really don't care how healthy it is. I do, but it needs to taste good. Like that's kind of number one. So if you
Right.
can't make it taste good, make it, less healthy. Like it's got to taste good. So that's got to be done. And then I will prioritize my kids and their activities over anything else besides that. So, my daughter has a softball game or my son has a soccer game. That's all I want to do. I want to go to those games. I want to see them. I want to see them play. I want to root them on. I want to help them out. I want to give them tips after. I want to give them tips before. I love being involved. And it's interesting because I am not a sports person. Like I said, I played some sports as a kid. I wasn't very good,
Right.
better at some than others. Definitely not an all-star, not even close. But I don't watch sports either. Which is odd. I find it tough to sometimes talk with other guys because sports often come up. I don't watch any sports. I mean, I'll probably watch some World Cup or something here or there, like it's on. But I'm really not into sports. I really wasn't my whole life, but they're fun. I mean, I like playing. I like doing things like I heard before. I like playing games, right?
Right.
And so I will watch any one of my kids play any sport, doesn't matter what, and I'll get into it, and I love it. So really for me, it's prioritizing that. It's prioritizing even just helping them with homework, whatever they need, playing a game with them on the table, doing anything, drawing with them when they were younger. I mean, anything, right? Is I have to get that time in with them. It's important
Yeah.
to me. I think it's important to them. Whether they realize it yet or not, I think it's very important. And, there's really nothing more important to me than my family. It's just like dawns on me, day by day. It's just like, wow, when you start to think ahead and it starts to get bleak when they leave the house, you're like, okay, well, let's play it day by day here. Let's enjoy the now.
Right.
We'll get to that point eventually, but it's changed. Going back, it's just changed my mindset from like job, career, money, and it's just that's gone down and families come up, and it's just really taken over. There's just nothing more important out there.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's the recognizing really truly the simple things and celebrating them for what they are. And that doesn't mean that you can't be motivated to be promoted or to excel in
Mm-hmm.
your career
Mm-hmm.
or move up. And I'm not saying that at all. What I'm focusing on is hearing you say, which I have heard a lot of people and also in my own life as well, you just live in the present and be happy about what's around you. And
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that you become complacent. It just allows you to celebrate everything that's surrounding you, and not taking that for granted. And again, it doesn't mean that you can't have the forward future thinking self of, oh, there's 10,000 things that I need to do this week, or let me see if I can advance myself in this way. I'm not talking about not
Sure.
doing that at all. It's about being happy about where you are and what you're surrounded by.
Yeah. I mean, 100%, and, even the forward thinking. I mean, yeah, I've thought ahead. And of course, in work, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
looking for promotions. I'm doing my best. I'm not, listen, government people don't get the best rap ever, right? And yeah, there are some lazy people in the workplace, but,
Sure.
that probably goes for everywhere too.
Right.
Do we have more? I don't know. I haven't counted, but I'm not one of those.
Right.
Like I said, I don't stop moving. I don't stop thinking. If I have a slow day, I am so bored. I
Ugh,
want to pull my hair out.
me too.
I want to work my butt off from the minute I get there to the minute I leave. I would love nothing more than just crunch, 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 just doing stuff. This, that, keep me busy.
Yeah.
I want to work all the time. So I have no problems there, and I'm always looking for opportunities. But at the same time, like I'm enjoying where I am in my role. With my knowledge that I have and doing what I do and doing it well.
Hmm.
I'm enjoying that. I'm very much enjoying that. I don't need to constantly be, you know, going up to the next level where I have to relearn everything. And there's good in challenging yourself for
Right.
sure.
Right.
But and you have to keep doing that to some extent.
Hmm.
But I also like enjoying what I'm doing, where I am, enjoying the people I'm around, because I say family is the most important thing, and yes, that's true. But it's just connections in general, right?
Hmm.
It's friends as well. It's like I said, back to the park. It's everybody I knew around me. I mean, it's been amazing. You just feel like you're having more of an impact on people's lives and helping people and teaching people and just talking to them.
Right.
It's just so good to have that community. I always think ahead. Okay, the end of my life, right? Whenever that may be, hopefully quite far away. And I'm laying in bed and I know it's my last couple days. And I think to myself, wow, I really wish my salary was 10K more. That's never going to happen.
Right.
Never going to happen.
Right. Right.
I wish I had a bigger house. I don't care about my house. I
Right.
love my house. It's a small two bedroom. It's great. It fits our needs. I don't even want to spend time in this house. I like it, but I don't have no reason to be here other
Right.
than end of night. I want to be out. I want to be with people, with my family, doing things, activities, just
Right.
enjoying life, enjoying the world, enjoying nature, enjoying anything else than what, couched around a TV. I mean, what? No one's going to lie in their bed at the end of their life and say, I wish I watched more TV,
Right.
right? It's not, I hope not. I mean, that would be a relatively sad state of affairs.
I'm with
So
you.
I, how many people, not that I want to leave a legacy. I don't need to have my name up on walls and statues. I'm not like that. I just want to impact as many people as possible, meet as many good people as possible, make friends, make acquaintances. And
Right.
I love it.
I
I
love
think
it.
that's really my purpose is, I've met you, a while ago. I've known you for a while. And one of my favorite things I'd say in my entire life is to make people smile. I love doing that. I enjoy it more than anything. And I think honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons I fell in love with my wife so quickly. She laughs at all my jokes, no matter how bad they are. She laughs so funny. She's got a great smile, a great laugh. I mean, it was like, this is amazing. Like I can entertain her the rest of my life. And that's entertaining myself because
Right.
of that. It's incredible. And so that is part of my goal with every interaction I have with every human is to make them smile.
I love it.
Because you see grumpy people all the time. They're grumpy in their job. They're grumpy in their daily lives. And it happens and that's allowed and it's understandable. I can get grumpy. It's possible. But to change that to a smile is unreal. It's huge. There's something as little as a couple words, or a little action. It's just, to me, those are the little things that make a big difference.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Even when you let the car in front of you merge, or you wave and say
Yeah.
thank you to the person behind you
Yep.
who allowed you to merge, or you let somebody go in front of you at the grocery store line or whatever, even those goofy little examples
Mm-hmm.
of you never really know how that made that other person's day, or how great that made you feel that you were able to have some sort of little interaction or impact
Mm-hmm.
in somebody else's life. So I love it.
Yep.
I absolutely love it.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
So before we go, Nick, I ask every guest the same question because I believe the stories we leave behind say so much about how we showed up in the world. So tell me, what's one story, big or small, that you hope people remember you for?
Hmm. One story. Let's see. I, yeah. So I think it's going to go back to my time at the park. I think for me, it was my happy place. Um, and I like to think for everybody else that was there with me every day or every other day or anybody that showed up, anybody that played with us, hung out with us, talked to us, laughed with us, ate with us, whatever we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to think it made them happy as well, even for a moment or a day or whatever it may be. I think I had the most impact on people's lives there. And it was such a just a light, airy, fun, friendly thing, nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to think it had a big impact overall, lots of little impacts combined. And reminds me a little bit of my wife as a teacher. She kind of feels the same way, right? I mean, is everyone life's going to be completely changed by their third grade teacher? No, probably not, right? But there's a bit. There's absolutely a little bit that they are impacting every single child in every class that they teach for their entire career. And you add that up and it can be astronomical, right? The impact that you're having. It's not on one person. It's just a lot spread out through many people. And to me, that's incredible. It's incredible. You can change or alter that many people's lives. Just a little bit of a nudge.
Mm-hmm.
And it just talking with all these people and, motivating them to do things and seeing like the light in their eye just shine, like, kids in particular, of course, but their eyes open, like, the realization and just turning the gears in their head just a little bit and making them think and do that. And it's just like, wow, like you're really affecting them. You're having an impact that they probably won't forget that. And of course now it's been, 6 years since then. You see these kids grow up and everything, and they still come up to me and they're still like, they call me Nick. Like, I'm not like Mr. Strand. I'm not
Right.
Juliana's dad or Nico's dad. I am Nick, and I always have been Nick. And I have no problem with the informality, right? Because I felt like a kid. I still think I am a kid inside. So why shouldn't I be called like a kid? That's
Right.
fine. I'm
Right.
okay with that. And so just, it's been great doing everything that I've done in the past couple of years and really finding my way. I think the only way I can now move forward is the involvement with my kids' sports. And I've been coaching here and there. I get a lot of the same feel, just to kind of keep that going as they mature, as they,
Mm-hmm.
get older, and as I mature, and just to keep having that impact on all these people around me. It's just the most moving time of my life,
I
for
love it.
sure.
I love it. And it so speaks to you and everything that you shared today, how that snapshot of time with the games and the playing and the park and the reminiscing and the impact in people's lives has now morphed into your everyday with you being a coach and you being involved in your children's sports, etc. So you really are still carrying on that same mindset of I'm making an impact, I'm building a community, and I'm giving as much and honestly of myself that I can where I can. I love it,
Yeah,
Nick. I
absolutely.
love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much. And to me, you'll always be peanut butter boy. And so, people may call you Nick, you're peanut butter boy to me.
That
So end of story.
works for me.
I
That
love it.
works for
I
me.
love it. So
Oh my
this is such
gosh.
a beautiful way to end the episode today. And I want to thank you for sharing everything that you've shared and for being part of the story. And I want to thank
Absolutely.
everyone for tuning into this episode of Dawn of a Story. If you heard something today that moved you, made you laugh, or made you think, share it with someone you love. Please like and subscribe to the show. And if you're feeling brave, I'd love to hear your story by commenting below. It helps other story lovers find us too. If you would like to connect with Nick, he can be reached through his Instagram account, which is Peanut Butter Boy PB. And I will also put that in the show notes. Until next time, keep listening, keep sharing, and keep telling your story. Thank you, Nick. This was so
Thank you,
much
Dawn.
fun. Thank
This was a
you.
lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks.